Welcome to Meet the GIMP, episode 24. Yes, it's already episode 24. My name is Rolf Steinert and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. And for today you are in for all the images of the Panorama Challenge in a slideshow with music. And a talk to my Lotto Fee, this time Chris Marquardt, from Tips from the Top Floor and different other podcasts. And then I'll tell you who the winner of the one-year membership in 23 is. And then I'll show you some content in this show, a tool for batch processing images. I found that. I'll tell you later. And then I have finally some requests for help for me and for someone else. And now let's start with the images from the Panorama Challenge. And now I have Chris Marquardt with me on Skype. Chris Marquardt is a host of several podcasts, and I think it's best he tells himself what he does. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Rolf, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Well, what do I do? Okay, I'm the host of one of the longest-running photography podcasts, Tips from the Top Floor. I'm also host in Germany of a photography podcast called Happy Shooting. Oddly enough, it has an English title, but it's in German. And I do a few other things around podcasting. I produce a couple of podcasts for companies, and I'm trying hard to make podcasting my living.
Without you, Meet the GIMP wouldn't exist, I can say, because I found podcasts with Tips from the Top Floor, first podcast I ever heard, and found a way into podcasting with your Photocast network. Photocast network was founded by you and John Arnold, wasn't it?
Right, John and I together kicked that off over a year ago, I think. You find it at photocastnetwork.com, and it's basically a collection of, I think right now we're sort of 15 different podcasts in English, in German, in Spanish, and now we have our first French-speaking member, which is very, very exciting. So photocastnetwork.com, lots of cool photography information, kind of like a family.
I have had a panorama challenge for my viewers. I have a prize to give away, a year membership at 23, the image hoster, and I need a random number from you.
Between which number?
Let's say between 1 and 100.
Okay.
The challenge is still open, so I can't say how many entries there will be. But I'll do a modulo calculation with that and find the real number then.
This is the scientist speaking there.
Well, yes, of course.
Okay, so I happen to have a pair of dice here that actually we use on the Happy Shooting podcast. I think they come from some sort of role-playing game, fantasy sort of thing, and one has the numbers 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100, and the other goes from 0 to 10. So basically, those together will make this number. So yeah, let me get going here.
Roll the dice, please.
Okay, it's 78.
78.
Yes, 78.
Okay. Then I'll find out on Sunday or on Saturday who has won this promo code from 3.
You are getting enough. I'm pretty sure with the popularity of Meet the GIMP, you will at least have 78 entries in this.
I fear not.
Really?
Last thing I counted, it were 19 people, I think.
19?
19 people who did an entry. But making a panorama isn't that easy.
Takes time. Yeah.
Takes time, and but a lot of people don't have that time. And you have to want to do it.
But as you said, you'll do the modulo thing with it, so you'll kind of narrow it down to a little smaller number.
Yeah, I'll have that. Do you have a tip for panorama shooting?
Oh, absolutely.
From Tips from the Top Floor, I think.
Right, I'm the guy with the photography tips. The panorama tip, one that actually I must say you hinted me to before we started recording. I talked about that in previous shows, and I almost forgot it, but it's something I almost automatically do when I shoot a panorama. Before I start shooting the pictures for the panorama, I take a picture of my hand, and then when I'm finished shooting the panorama, after that I also shoot a picture of my hand. And why I do that is, if I go through all the whatever, just imagine you come home with a memory card full of pictures, 200-300 pictures on that card. How do you find the images that make up the panorama? Easy, look for the hands and you have them.
Well, that's a really good tip. And I did it that way, and it was very helpful with my trying to shoot a panorama, because I had several tries, and then to find out where does this series start and the other ends, That's
Virtually impossible, yes.
virtually impossible. Thank you for coming to Meet the GIMP, and well, I think I'll see you on the next focus ring or on one of your workshops.
Hopefully.
There's a workshop upcoming in northern Germany, I heard, with shooting.
There's one coming up in Nordheim on the... Okay, now you... Give me a second. In March 2008, and it's from the 13th to the 16th of March 2008 in Nordheim in middle to northern Germany, and it's going to be in the German language with Boris and myself.
Yeah, and you are doing English workshops again in the US. Are there any in Germany planned?
Yes, my next year's schedule, 2008, will be crazy. I'm planning for 12 workshops in total.
Oh.
4 of those will be in English in the United States, so there will be a US tour in August. We are looking at 4 German language workshops around the Happy Shooting podcast and 4 English language workshops in Germany. It's still a question if I can fill all those, but hey, if you don't try, you can't win. So I'd rather cancel one of them than not have enough up there.
Yeah, I can say all the Meet the GIMP viewers go to the website meetthegimp.org. On the right side, on the sidebar, you find a promo for your workshops, for the workshops of Tips from the Top Floor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for this random number and this not so random tip. And goodbye, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
The dice are cast, and we have a number 78. And now let's look who has won. I go to the meetthegimp.org website, go down to a photo group here. Oh, by the way, here is the button for Chris Marquardt's workshops. And now let's look what's in the photo group. And I go to photos. Oh, some new here. I'll look that later. And I am searching now for pictures labeled MTG Panorama. And here we are. 44 pictures have come in, and here is a list of all the users who have sent some in, starting with Blue Mojo. Sorry, that's a staff member. No, not really staff, but he made this video about this, and he won the last competition, so well, I'll leave him out of the list. And here is the list. Let me count them. That's preferences, line numbers. We have 18 participants. The calculator, and here I need scientific. The magic number was 78, and that calculated modulo 18 gives, now I should have a drum roll, and I should pull this over here that you can see the list live. Now again the drums are still rolling, and I press the button. 6. Rob A. Congratulations. I'll send you the code. I think it's better not to read it here in the show. I'll send you the code via email. You'll hear from me soon. Here I have about 40 different panoramas made by you. And all of them have different sizes and different aspect ratios, and I have to get them into one size to get them into the show. I have to use 640 by 480 pixels, and I want to have a black background. This would be a very time-consuming thing if I hadn't read Joel's blog again. I think Joel is the last time providing a lot of content for Meet the GIMP. So he pointed me to Fetch. You find it at photobatch.stani.be. That's a guy from Belgium. Well, where all you live, that's basically right around the corner from here. And he has written a Python program called Fetch. It's running as it's a Python program under Windows, Macintosh operating systems, and under Linux. It's developed under Linux. So let's look what Fetch can do. This here is my directory, and now I just create a folder here, and I name this folder. I say it create. There it is. I name this folder test. Very imaginary. And now just remove this here. Here you see the recording software. You shouldn't see that too. And now I start Fetch. So this is Fetch. Here is add an action. Well, let's do that. And you see here I can change the canvas size, I can change the image size, I can convert the color mode, invert the colors around the edges, save an image, not bad, and can get a shadow to it, and even rotate the image. There's something below. Oh yes, a watermark. I can do a watermark. So let's start with this. First, I want to change the image size. I click on Add. Here I have image size with 100%. No, I don't want to have percents. I want to have pixels. Maximum width of the image should be 640 pixels. The height should be 480, and also not percent but pixels. The resolution is, well, not important for me. I want to keep the proportions, yes, of course, and I have the resample algorithm, which are yes, here bicubic is okay. So my image resizing is taken care of. And now the images get resized so that they are at maximum 640 width and at maximum 480 in height. But I want to have 640 by 480, and so I add canvas size, change the canvas size. And here I take the same numbers, pixels, 640, height, 480, resolution is the same, align horizontal, align vertical, sensible, and I want to have the background color black. So opacity 100%, well, I want to have them well visible. The last thing is to save the image. Oh, well, I clicked on the wrong thing here. I could have chosen it here, but I clicked on here, execute the action, and the program noticed that there is no saving of the images at the end. Well, I want to save them in file name. Well, I want to keep the file name, and I want to keep the image type, and I want to save them in this folder I had just made here. I want to have these images in the folder. Where is it here? Pano test. Okay, quality 60. Here's the slider. Let's get a little bit more. 85. Resolution is not important for me now. There are other actions here, explore them. They are, you see here a watermark. You need an image with your watermark, and the program puts it on it, on your images. You have here transpose, rotating the images. This shadow looks really nice. Just explore it. Sometimes you run into a wall, but a bit of thinking shows you that you have just mismatched the order of the operations. For example, changing the canvas first and then resizing, or such things. So now let's run this here. I want to run it on a folder, and I want to browse for my folder here, the Panos. I just open it and get a selection here of image extensions, image types, which will be processed. And you see here JPEG is selected. I want to stop it for errors. I want that the program checks first if it's an image. I don't want overwriting of existing images. And okay, that was it. Now I let this run. You see that nothing happens. There must have been an error. Oh, no. This has been finished in that time. You see them here. Let me just open this one here. Right size, or this one. Right size with a black bottom and top. And the only thing I have now to do is put your names onto here. And this is Paul 2. Well, I think this will be one of my standard tools to resize images for blog or for forum use and so. As you can save these actions here. I'll try to do that. Oh, that was sorry, that was loading. See here, File, Save As. And this here is the file for Cinelera.py, and it looks for me like a Python operation, perhaps an include file, or I don't know how Python does this stuff. But it's plain text, and one could easily meddle with it here and change something. All the options are in plain text, and for that I can think you don't have to click these actions together each time. Fetch can be run non-interactive without the graphic user interface. You can include it into a batch file or script and have it perform these actions. In the Save dialog, you can set here a relative folder, for example this here, folder copy, then it will generate the folder. So this is good for running it in a batch or a script. Give it a folder as a parameter and get the copy folder copy as the result, with the results. I'm missing one thing, and that is a little bit about sharpening or unsharp mask or so. That would be fine, because after scaling, especially after downscaling, you have to sharpen the image to get some of the crispness of the original back into it. But this is under heavy development, and I think sharpening is top on the list of the stuff he was doing, and I hope it comes soon. And if sharpening is in there, this is definitely worth a lot as a tool. Well, we are nearly through with the show. There are some requests for help. The first one isn't for me, but for a good friend of me in Florida in the US. Lee is looking for a job in the printing or publishing industry. And if you happen to have any connections in the printing or publishing industry and can suggest any leads, please email her at morningstar14@gmail.com. The next call for help is for people who know resources about programming. I have been asked repeatedly how to write scripts for the GIMP. Sorry, for GIMP. And, well, I know a bit about it and tried a bit with script foo, but there are too much parentheses in this scheme language. I tend to entangle myself in them. And Python seems to be a language that fits to me. I have some experience with Pascal and some other languages, TickleTK and so on. But I have never done anything in Python and would love to hear from you a resource for learning the basics of Python in a nice way. Please mail me at info@meetthegimp.org. And then I'm looking for help with the website meetthegimp.org. I want to have some contributors there. So if you are surfing the web looking for new stuff with GIMP and other open source software, or looking for tutorials and find something interesting, why don't you get an account at meetthegimp.org? Just mail me and publish it there. It would get more clicks to my page, more viewers, and more interest in the show. And I think the value of this for all, also for me, would go up. The last thing is a call for content. You have seen Joseph's recording about Eugen, the panorama software. It's now the most viewed show of all the Meet the GIMP shows. And if you know something about the GIMP that you want to show, just do a screen recording and I'll publish it here. That takes a bit away from my workload here and gets you involved a little bit more. And I'll publish a recipe for doing a screen recording the easy way. Another short screen recording by one of the viewers will be coming up in the next weeks. And now I just have to say goodbye, and I hope to see you around here when I start with Meet the GIMP in the next year. The next 4 shows you'll see will become out of the tin can, and just look if you like them, and I'll restart with I think a new concept and some changes in the next year, end of January. Goodbye.
Photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the podosphere. Photocastnetwork.com.
Okay, noch ein Stückchen Wein.
Du podcastest unter Alkoholeinfluss.
And now I have a guest on the show. With me on Skype is Chris Marquardt, the host
Hello.
of... Hm?
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Okay, nochmal. Ich war einfach nicht drauf gefasst, dass du was sagst. Dann hab ich erschrocken.